The Uptober rally has been completely wiped out in the crypto space. Let's find out why. Hey everyone, I'm Jenny Horne and this is Crypto Corner on Schwab Network. For help breaking down this latest move, let's bring in Nate Peterson, Director of Derivatives Analysis at the Charles Schwab Center for Financial Research. So Bitcoin was, of course, at around 127,000 on October 6th. Just a little over a week later, we're approaching 110,000. Nate, what is going on?
Yeah, hey Jenny. I know not great for the crypto bulls that are out there so far. We still have half a month here, but look, Uptober. If you look over the past 5 years, Bitcoin on average up 22%. That's where it gets its name. If you look at what basically happened, the first 3, 4, 5 days of October were looking good. We were just climbing every day, making new highs. In terms of Bitcoin and also recovery in Ethereum, recovery in Solana, etc. And then Friday happened. Well, what happened on Friday? We get the Trump post about China, trade wars basically escalating again. And this caught the market off guard. And we saw basically a multi-standard deviation move from the S&P. I mean, keep in mind the S&P 500 had not had a 2% correction since April. It's only been below its 20-day simple moving average for 3 days. It's just been this steady uptrend. Then Friday happens, October 10th, and you get basically a 3% down move in the S&P 500. Everything was moving to one side of the boat. Then you get that post on Friday, and you get this sharp sell-off in the equity markets. What sticks out to me, obviously, is that crypto is still kind of in that risk bucket, meaning it's correlated with risk assets. And when there's a sell-off, this has a rollover into the crypto space in order to get liquidity or to raise cash or to take exposure off. And so with this outside move that we got on Friday, we saw a lot of sell volume come into the crypto space. We saw some auto deleveraging. If you look out there in terms of some of the price action, Bitcoin actually got down to 104,000. I even saw 102,000 at some point. Depends on which exchange you're looking at because there's a lot of centralized and decentralized exchanges out there in an exacerbated moment like we saw on Friday. And if you go look at most of the crypto coins across the board, you're going to see this sharp drop and especially a lot of the altcoins. They experienced a more severe drop than 13% that we saw on Bitcoin. But in doing so, there were we saw a lot of exposure getting taken off the table. And how did Jonathan Mann measure that? It's basically from the perpetual futures contracts that are out there. Perpetual futures contracts are those that don't basically expire. They don't have an expiration date. They're not standard future contracts. But the open interest is the number of contracts that are out there in the market, those that actually have a position. There was about 65 million that was wiped out. And so heading into the weekend, because of less exposure, we got to see some more stability in terms of bringing the price back up in Bitcoin and really in crypto across the board. And so here we stand. We're roughly about 111K on Bitcoin. But you're right, Jenny. We were at 127 not that long ago. So a bit of a shock for those that were expecting this October to be just, essentially up and away.
I mean, it's especially true because so much of this impact has been felt on, say, like Friday afternoon, for example, when I feel like many are logging off. And I just was, watching the markets like, wow, many people aren't even going to know what hit them when you turn in on Monday, and follow up after perhaps out a bit early for the weekend is how I was thinking about things. But it's not just Bitcoin that's been impacted. Other assets have seen an impact as well. So walk us through the technicals for like Ethereum, Solana, XRP, for example.
Yeah, that'd be great. Let's go back to the technicals on Bitcoin first. I mentioned that it's 111,000 here, and it hit 127,000. If you look at the chart and look over basically the past couple of months, you can see if you want to look for a support level, where do the buyers step in? And that 110,000 price level is certainly that level that the bulls would like to hold near term. We've got the 100-day simple moving average up there as well. just because it looks like that was an indicator, a moving average that the price was responding to. I'd probably just say more importantly is that 110,000 level. Look on the chart there and you can see it bounced there once in August, once in September. And then on Friday, yes, violated, but quickly rebounded and currently back above there. So if you're a bull, you'd like to see that hold. I will say also reading the price action as a technician, we've got tech stocks that are up today. We've got a lot of the spec Momo stocks that are up today. We have gold that is trading at fresh all-time highs. And yet, look at Bitcoin. I'm wondering if there's been some sentiment damage that is going to need some time to heal because of that price shock event on Friday. But if we're going to say that Bitcoin is a risk asset and there's correlation there, both on the upside and the downside, one would expect a lot of the crypto prices should be up today with the rebound back into risk assets, and we're not seeing that. So not great price action, but let's see if we can hold that 110,000 price level as support. Now let's move over to Ethereum as well, because I feel like Ethereum also had support kick in at an important price level that's roughly around 4,000 there that you can see. And there's that big red arrow that you can, a red candle, excuse me, that you can see from last Friday. That's four. You can count back 4 candles there. And support at that 4,000 level. If you're a bull, you would like to see that stay in place as well. 4,900, it made an attempt, as we've talked about before, Jenny, to go break out to a fresh all-time high. Hasn't done so. So we're basically in a trading range right here from 4,000 to 4,900. Just some points out there to keep in mind for our crypto traders. And then let's hop over to Solana. We'll take a look at that as well. Solana, I feel like, is very similar to Ethereum in the sense that it held its support level at that 200 price level. All-time high, I think it might have hit 255, 256, but we're going to call it 250. Let's keep it simple. In a trading range is what I'd say for now. That uptrend that you can see from that green arrow in the middle of the chart where it gapped down and it moved back up, if you were to draw a trend line, we basically violated that uptrend line on Friday, so I'm putting Solana. I might have had it technically in a better camp about a couple weeks ago than Ethereum. Because of that uptrend, now I'm going to put it in basically that trading range camp. Sideways consolidation with support at 200, resistance at 250. We'll keep an eye on that in terms of the support level because we're right there, Jenny. We're at like 199, 200 on Solana, so keep an eye on that. And then XRP. Lastly, we'll take a look at this. This is probably technically the worst of the bunch. Please, XRP, bulls, don't hate me. I'm just talking about technicals here. And I say that just because it has kind of broken down to a 3-month low here. And where is support? Well, you kind of have to go all the way back to where before it broke out in terms of a support level. So XRP looks the most tenuous, I guess, in terms of the price action and the selling pressure that came in and hit this coin on Friday. So this is one that out of the 4 we just discussed, I'd be the most concerned about. The other 3, I'd probably just put in that trading range. Bitcoin, I maybe put at the top. And why? Because it did actually go up and register a new all-time high in October. While Ethereum and Solana did not. So, Jenny, I think that October has the potential to bring in some more volatility. I'm not, praying for it. I don't want it. But I just think that potential is in place given what happened on Friday. Confidence rattled a little bit, both in the crypto and the risk asset space like stocks. And some of the uptrends, even the S&P 500 now has registered multiple day closes below the 20 SMA. So there's a couple of technical orange flags that are there. Let's see if we can get through this month without too much damage and then kind of get back to resuming those uptrends because the fundamental backdrop does still look good for the crypto space.
Okay, I love that. Orange flags, not red flags, and still overall a pretty strong picture for the space. I mean, especially with all of the legislative framework that's been laid for the last several months, you have to still have some faith in a space that has been still impressive for its year-to-date performance. So I couldn't agree more, but appreciate all of the commentary as always, Nate Peterson. And that'll do it for this week's Crypto Corner as well. Want to watch more? You need to subscribe to the Schwab Network YouTube channel. Until then, we'll see you next week. I'm Jenny Horne. Thanks for watching.